Hi everyone, for this quick video I wanted to cover the idea of MLA and APA format in a little more depth. We've used it a bit this semester. Both formats have been used in papers in different ways. Some of you have mistakenly used APA citation and formatting when you should be using MLA, and some of you have been using MLA but using it incorrectly. Now, for most composition courses and literature courses, you will be using MLA. This is also true for foreign language courses and the occasional history course. For many science courses and psychology courses and education courses, you use APA. Both citation styles are valid. Both citation styles have the distinct purpose of making sure that we are documenting where our sources are coming from in a professional manner. And they really both serve the same purpose, but they do have some major differences. Right along the lines of exactly how you set up your paper. So the first resource that's really essential for you in this process, if you haven't been using it, is your writer's resource. If you've bought that textbook, you need to look at that. I'm looking at the 4th edition right now as I'm talking with you, and it has the tabs. The version I have has tabs, and tab 6, which is green, deals with all the MLA, and tab 7, which is brown, deals with all the APA styles. Now, if something happens and you don't have that text, another great resource for you is Al at Purdue. Now at Purdue is something I've been recommending since I started teaching, back when I started teaching high school 10 years ago. This has been around forever, and it's really just a great free resource for young writers. You see that you have an APA formatting and style guide here, and you have an MLA formatting and style guide here. And they go through all the processes of doing that, including models. Now, if something happens and text isn't your thing, you have a hard time dealing with text. If you want to have a video tutorial, it really is just as simple as typing in MLA format and looking at your different software. It really is as simple as typing it in, and you'll pull up a video.
Its final exam
After the commercials.
The library is
Darn YouTube, Google bought YouTube and made it a bunch of commercials. But now, yeah, you see you have all these different tutorial videos for the different editions. That's an MLA version of it.
According to the 7th edition.
And here's an APA version. You have APA videos here as well.
Welcome to this narrative tutorial on using Microsoft Word 2013. Word 2013 looks very similar to other versions
so you
of
can
Word
see here,
where
there's lots and lots of resources for you. So the basic idea here is that there really is no excuse not to be formatting a paper correctly. So if you look at your third essay prompt, it appears here in the Moodle book, creating an annotated bibliography. And it appears right here, and it's linked for you. You just open this. Now, you've already looked at this once, but now hopefully you're looking at it in a little more depth. And it does say that this one would need to be submitted in APA format. Now, originally I had intended that this would be MLA format, and then you would revise it into APA format. But I think submitting one paper in APA format will be useful. And then instead of doing the revision into APA format, I'll have you revise it into MLA format for extra credit. And that's how we'll run it, to avoid any confusion. So what I'm going to show you today is how to set up a paper in APA format. And then I'm also going to show you how to convert that paper into MLA format. There's a lot of different ways of doing this. But I'm going to show you the way, the most simple way to do it with this sort of software. I am, of course, using Microsoft Office 2013, as you can tell by the layout. Okay, so the first thing I do when I want to set up something in a new reference style, a new structure, that I'm not used to is I find my resource. So I go to a writer's resource and I look for the APA documentation style section. And then I go to the back of it and look at the model paper. And for an APA model paper, they actually have a title page and what's called a running head. So the first thing I need to do is set up this object. Now, if I want, I can actually go into Microsoft Word. If you have the most recent version of it, I can go in and select an APA formatted template, and I can create a paper using this. And then I would type up whatever my title is. In this case, symbols and icons. So objective semiotics, how a symbol is a language. Yeah, and then I can take that and I can place it here. Now, with all titles, we do something called initial caps, and that means all the really important words receive a capital letter with a title. And then you would put in here, you don't necessarily need to put your title, obviously, because you don't have a title yet. You don't need to put your degrees, but you would put your first name, middle initial, and then you would put whatever the institutional affiliations are. So in this case, it would be our class. And then you would put the date, and they actually have you do dates in a way that might be more familiar to you than MLA. Now, you don't need an author's note, and I'm actually not going to require the abstract for this. You simply need to start typing the paper. So you can delete all of that and just start the paper. And notice how it starts with the title here. It's already plugged in, and then it gives you all this information for setting up headers and all those structures and your references, how to set up your reference page. So that's one way to do that. If you have the most recent version of Word, you can already use a template. If you don't have the most recent version of Word, you can start with a blank document. You want to make sure in that blank document, in that blank document, that your font is Times New Roman, that it is 12, that your paragraph is 00, and your line spacing is double. So that's all the same as what you've been dealing with MLA. Now up here, you would type in your header, which would be the title of your paper, and you would want to put something along the lines of that here. We just put in the page number. Let's just put in the page number to start. Put in the page number, and then over here you type in the title of your paper. Of course, now it's not going to work with me. And then you would set up this the same way. So the big difference from what you have in your textbook and what you see here is that we're not using the abstract. The abstract is not part of this process for us. If you were writing a paper for another course, they may require you to do an abstract. So that's something to consider, that you may still have to do it and to understand what an abstract is, but I am not going to require it. So that's basically it for setting up a APA paper. The reference page, what is traditionally thought of as a bibliography page, is called actually references, and APA requires that you bold it. Now, APA emphasizes the citation's date. And if you think about it, that makes sense because it's primarily used in scientific fields. And scientific researchers often release incomplete research with hypotheses listed, and then they go back and revise and release a new article, and sometimes that new article contradicts what they previously had stated. So it's important to know the date of the research so that you can make sure the research is the most recent. You see here what I am typing right now is a citation for an article that appears online, what it should look like, and how it differs significantly from the MLA formatted article that appears online. So that's another thing to remember, is you don't want to do one of these odd meldings of the two. You want to make sure that you are following the correct format for APA. So you need to write this word retrieved from, and they actually do require the URL, unlike MLA, which no longer does. And there you go. Now you would have to go in and make sure that you've corrected typos. And like MLA, they use hanging indents, and the references are alphabetical. Block quotes are structured in basically the same way. Headers, you have subtitles for chapters, are a little more common in APA. So that's the basics of APA format, though. It's pretty simple to set up. I'm going to save this and attach it to the lesson so that you have access to it. If you have, you know, Microsoft Office, an older version of Office, you might be able to use that. So that's for this essay. You'll need to structure it in APA. Now, let's do MLA so we can review that, because remember, you're going to be able to revise this essay into MLA format for extra credit. So let's practice that real quick. Same sort of thing. You can go to New, and you can search for an MLA template if you have the newest version of this, and you can create a paper using that template. And it's pretty basically set up here on how to do it. It even shows you how to set up tables and the works cited page. Or if you don't, you can go in select a blank document, and follow these steps. Insert your page number, and then you would put your last name at the top of the page. Then click down here, and you're going to want to put your first name. You're going to want to put my name. You're going to want to put the class section and code. And you're going to want to put the date. Remember, MLA does dates in this style. You space down twice, and then you would type your title. Space down twice, and then you'd start the text of your paper. After you've typed the text or before, you would set up your works cited page. And to type the entry, just so you can see how some of these look, a website article in MLA looks like this. And of course you have hanging indents with this as well. So that's the basic MLA template. Now, in-text citations in MLA do not emphasize dates. In-text citations in MLA emphasize page numbers or line numbers if you're dealing with poems. So keep that in mind as you're revising into MLA. Alright, so that's the basics of APA format and MLA format. For more advanced things, such as the different types of in-text citations, I really expect you to use one of those resources that I have provided for you. Let's save this again. MLA template. So you have access to it. I really expect you to use a little bit of gumption and a little bit of thought and go in and actually look at these resources that have been provided for you. You have a ton of sources that you can draw upon to learn how to cite these correctly each time. So you're not constantly having to get points marked off for not following instructions. So again, if you have any questions about formatting, please email me. We're getting to the end of the semester here. We're over halfway. So it's really important now that you don't lose points just based on formatting issues. I hope this video helps. Be on the lookout for another video either today or tomorrow related specifically to the next essay prompt.